Hey guys, welcome back to Cat View. So I just finished watching the L Word Generation Q, or Gen Q, season one, and we are going to talk about it. There is a lot to discuss. It's really, really good. So get your snacks and join me for this very long, extended review discussion of the L Word. Okay, guys. So first of all, in case anyone who watches this channel didn't know this information, obviously I am a big lesbian. So that's the first thing. Let's get that out of the way. Now, the L Word is not, I just want to make this statement straight away. The L Word is not directly just for lesbians, or even just for people that are part of the LGBT community specifically. It's definitely directed toward those people, and the initial OG L Word, which came out in 2004, I can't believe I'm even saying it because it was so long ago. It was definitely heavily featured around lesbian relationships for the most part. And you follow these characters and these stories, and it was amazing. It was groundbreaking for its time. It was life-changing for people like myself who watched it. And it had such an impact on so many people. And I know that the writers and the cast, discussed and I watched interviews back in the day before this even happened about, basically paving the way. Before the L Word, there really wasn't anything like it. I think there was Queer as Folk, but it wasn't the same, and it certainly wasn't based on lesbian relationships and really showcasing everything that entails and different, groups of people and diversity and these interconnected webs of intimacy and love and fucking up and mistakes and all of it that comes along with personal relationships with people, just generally people, really. And that's why I think it was so relatable to so many people. But yeah, the L Word, the OG L Word was amazing. And I watched interviews where the cast talked about how, they were a little bit disheartened, because after all that work, I mean, it ran for 6 seasons, and again, it's very popular. After all that work, the reaction in terms of with media and then TV and network and stuff like that wasn't really what they were expecting, and so nothing has really come out the way that did with such creativity and originality and just not giving a fuck and just being real and being free and being really who you are. And that's exactly what this show is about. Talking about people with everything that they are, the mistakes that they make and the love that they, have and they lose, and the way they live in their life, really. And so yeah, so that's really what prompted, I think, coming back and doing this show. So that was just a bit of backstory in case you've never seen the actual original L Word. Please go watch it. It is so fucking good. It was so good, and it's one of my favorite shows to this day. I will always hold it very dear to my heart because it's just a very just an amazing show. It's just I don't have the words for it. It's just an amazing show. There's too much emotion to try and describe that show, and we don't have the time because we need to talk about this show. So, in saying that, please go watch the L Word if you haven't seen it. Watch all 6 seasons. So the L Word Gen Q. So let's just start off there. Okay, so basically, this show pretty much revolves around the OG cast, the OGs. Now we've got the cast that returned. Bet, Tina makes an appearance. Ellis and Shane. Those are your OGs. Now they're not all of the cast, obviously. I miss people. Oh, I miss like Helena. I miss Dana. Obviously, Dana could not return if you watched the first one. And again, full disclosure, there's gonna be spoilers about everything. The first one, this one, it's spoiler packed. So again, if you don't want to be spoiled, please go watch the first one, or watch this one, this season 2 as well. So yeah, so there's some characters that I wish would have shown up or will maybe still make an appearance, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. Anyway, I was just thinking about how I wish like Dana came to Alice in like a ghost form. That would be so cool. It'd be so funny. But anyway, so you get your main OGs, and really, to be fair, these are really the main cast members whose storylines were really focused in on. Shane is a big one. Bet is obviously a big one. Um, and Alice, of course. You know, these were all friends, and their love life intertwined, and you got to see so much of all their lives in that first one. So in this one, like I said, we focus on the OGs of the L Word. So Bet, Porter, Shane McCutcheon, Alice Piasecki. And we also then focus on a new group of people, which is your Gen Qs, which is Danny, Sophie, Micah, I think, and Finley. So we basically get to see this new group, the new generation, to see what their lives are like and their ambitions, and it shows a little bit of each character, just like it did in the original one. And you know, each one has their main story, and they did really like such a good job again with the character development in this one, just like they did in the first one, to really showcase each character and give you a backstory, give you an idea of who these people are and why they do the things they do, and you know, get to know them and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what really we get to see in this first season. It's obviously the introduction to these characters. We also get to see obviously how your OG characters, you know, your previous ones intertwine into this new setting, this modern world. And we also get to see where they ended up. You know, it's like 10 years later, I think. So we get to see what happened with Bet. You know, did Bet and Tina stay together or whatever? Um, we get to see so much stuff that obviously was never answered in the first one, and it's really, really cool to see where these characters ended up. Some of them are exactly where I sort of thought they would be, and some of them are not. It's really interesting to me. They were like when I was watching this, the first 3 episodes, there was a lot of shock. There was a lot of shock. There was like mouth dropping moments. There was just silence, and there's a lot of processing. Um, so let me just talk about a few of the things and what happens that I was like completely like holy shit at, because anyone who's watched the R Word is a fan of the show is gonna probably relate to what I'm saying, and I want to discuss this for those for those viewers, for those people who may watch this channel, this upload, and see if they feel the same way about the show. So first thing, Bet. I have to talk about Bet. Bet. First of all, they look fucking amazing. They look fucking fantastic, beautiful, gorgeous. Like they still look so damn good. It really doesn't look like they've aged up drastically at all, considering it's been over a decade. It doesn't look like that at all. The show started in 2004, ran for 6 seasons. So yeah, it's been over a decade. That's crazy. They really don't look. They just look fantastic, all of them. Bet, Shane, Alice, they look great. So yeah, Bet is still a boss lady. She's still a badass. She's now, you know, raising Angie by herself, it seems, kind of sharing custody with Tina, who's not really in the picture. She's sort of like away. It's kind of where I expected her to be. She's still Bet. She's still boss. You know, we see her start off running for mayor, and it's like, of course she is, because where else would Bet Porter end up, really? And then we see the very real reason also that she's running for mayor, which was a shock. It was one of those jaw dropping moments that I talked about. It was upsetting. It hurt my heart, not gonna lie to you. And that is that we find out that Kit overdosed and died. So that was, oh, it still hurts me to talk about it. I've tried to ignore it throughout the series, throughout the season. Um, that's upsetting. Now I don't know obviously what happens behind the scenes in terms of actual casting, and or if this is something that they just wanted to write it out so they could pave this storyline for a bit. I don't know why they chose this, but that's what happened. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it was upsetting to see that Kit had died. I mean, I would have been okay with not seeing her come into it and just like have Bet talk about her and just not have her make an appearance, but to know that she died of a heroin overdose. Oh, that hurts my heart after she struggled so much with addiction in the first one, and she was such a good person. So, you know, that upset me. So then we move on to Shane. Now Shane surprised me a little bit. It's not super shocking the storyline that you get for Shane because it's Shane. It's not super shocking what happened, but it did surprise me that she was married. Now, the last season, correct me if I'm wrong, if someone's watched this, didn't she like, wasn't there a thing with a girl called Molly and she was in love with her and like she put a note in her jacket? Hello? Like, what happened? I was watching this and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, obviously that relationship didn't work out, but like, there's just, it was hard for me. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It was hard to accept that I had to adapt to such a long time difference without acknowledging so much stuff that had obviously gone on before. It had ended that way, and it's like, what the fuck. So yeah, that was just a non thing. It was never mentioned. Um, I knew straight away that Carmen wasn't going to come back because in the first like few episodes, they basically introduce a Carmen lookalike in the form of a bartender. I guess they were like, who can we put in here that has a bit of flavor that is kind of like Carmen, like follows Shane around, has a crush, like just so wants Shane the way Carmen wanted Shane initially, except this time this person has a partner, and this person is also not, she's not Carmen, she's no Carmen, but the similarities in terms of look, the resemblance was creepy. I didn't like it. It was eerie. For some reason, again, the storyline went that way. I don't know what the deal is with having Sarah Shade come back, but she's fantastic. I fucking wish she would. Oh god, that would be such a fucking storyline for Shane. It would be so good. I also would love to see for Shane's story her brother come back, like her step brother, half brother. That would be really cool. Like him all grown up and shit. Like, I mean, listen, you get the scandal in this, just like the first show. You get the scandal, you get the drama, and you get so involved in these people's lives and these characters' stories, and it's just everything. But yeah, Shane still has that drama following her around everywhere because it's Shane. It just doesn't stop. Uh, I really like the performances by all of them. By the way, I feel like that just doesn't even need to be acknowledged really and said because they're fantastic. They're amazing. All of the new cast as well was really good, really strong as well. Most of them I really liked. I thought most of them were really strong. Um, Alice, Alice, Alice is Alice. What can I say about Alice? Alice is so sick. Alice is hilarious as usual. She's funny. The writing is good in this. It's not as good. I want more humor, but it's good. The relationships are there. Like it's so amazing to see this cast back together again, specifically the OGs, and to see them, working together again. And for the most part, it feels very much like it used to feel. But this is a very different show. This is definitely modernized. I really love the transitions they do here. I love the music choice, the flavor, basically the whole tone of the whole show is a little bit different. That intro is different. It's not the classic Elwood song intro anymore. It's different now, and I feel like it's really representative of all the different people and culture and just diversity of the human race really that has not been really talked about, or at least it wasn't talked about then. So like that's what they're doing now, and they've done a really good job introducing people of all different types in this show. I feel like they could do a little bit more diversity, but I think they also have done such a good job so far. They showcase so many different issues, and they showcase different people. There's Micah is a trans person, so we follow that. If you guys remember from the first one, we had someone named Max, who formerly was Moira. But But again, this is done entirely different. The story is different. The character is entirely different. But there are similarities, I guess you could say, to how they're represented in the writing, I think, a little bit. But definitely completely different stories. We also have Finley, who basically Finley was a fucking hot mess. Finley is my least liked character. Finley was like the Jenny almost. I'm not gonna shit on Finley and actually say that. But Finley was like almost like the Jenny, like the complete saboteur. Like she sabotaged everything. She always fucked up everything. She was like Shane 2.0, except without game. Like she was like like a really bad version of Shane. I mean, I don't know. Shane fucks everybody's girlfriend anyway. Like Shane fucks up shit too. But I think the difference between Finley and Shane is that maturity, and Finley just comes off as so misguided and lost and selfish. I felt for her in the start. I really did with the church stuff. I kind of gathered what the storyline there was, even though they didn't explicitly come out and say that. But as the storyline progressed with Sophie and Danny, and that all intertwined, I didn't like that. There were moments when I was watching this show and I was like, I really don't want this to happen. There were a lot of those moments actually. Like to counter it, there were a lot of like, holy shit, I really want this to happen moments. But there were actually quite a few moments where I was like, please stop it. And I had to look away because I was like, I don't want this to happen. Like it was like, again, like watching a train wreck, watching a disaster that you couldn't look away and you knew it was going to happen, but you didn't want it to happen. Like you were like, please just let something happen. Like let something just stop this moment. But unfortunately, there were a lot of moments like that which weren't stopped, and it just went there. And of course, it's has the again the scandal, the drama, like the fucking friends. I mean, I laugh a little bit when I was watching this because I don't know if it's just me. I can't claim to know what all lesbians are like or that world is like. I'm just one person. I can only speak for myself. But you know, it's just funny that they showcase like everybody fucking all their friends and just the fact that people can't be emotionally close without having a physical encounter then happen. Like the intimacy here is so twisted sometimes. But again, sometimes it's all about love and in intimacy and connection, and then other times it's completely just fucking to fuck and it's just hot. Um, they do put a lot of stuff in here to show you that connection between people, to show you the mistakes people make, to really show you who people are at the end of the day. Um, and the sexuality and the gender identification doesn't change how people can be, and really also is there to educate people for stuff that they I guess don't know. Um, but there's also a lot of hot shit in here, whew, a lot of like a lot of moments in this show. But yeah, definitely a lot of that. I forgot what I was talking about now that I thought about it. There's so many moments that I was watching this show, specifically with the Finley stuff, that I had to look away. Now, one thing I can say, it was upsetting to me because as you can see, I kind of have the Finley hair situation going on at the moment. Damn COVID. So upset watching Sophie with the fade, and I was like, like my hair is growing out too much. But I really disliked Finley, like I said. She's just the goofball and she's a sweetheart, but she's just so misguided and she just fucks up everything. So it was hard for me to root for her at the end of it. But also Sophie fucks up as well. Danny is the one I felt for the most. Also, I really like Danny because she just reminds me of Bet. It was really cool. Like I said, like it was like mirroring almost some of the characters. Sophie kind of reminds me a little bit of Alice. She works for her as well, which is funny, but like a little bit. And then like Finley reminds me a little bit of Shane, and then like Danny looks like a little bit like Bet. The tenacity is there, the drive is there. She's just boss bitch. Like there are some scenes where I don't know if Wardrobe did this on purpose, but like legit Bet and Danny are like wearing almost the identical thing. I really don't like the storyline that they're going toward. They're heading toward Bet and Danny hooking up. I really don't want that to happen. It's weird. It was weird when Bet and Gigi hooked up, but it was fucking. It was it was lovely, but it was weird, but also hot as fuck. I'm not gonna deny that. Speaking of hot as fuck, let me talk about the things that grossed me out the most, and then we'll go to the flip side of the things that I liked the most. So the thing that grossed me out the most about this show was Finley's armpits. I'm sorry, we have to talk about it because I feel like they've put this in there to be like, oh, it's okay. It's not okay. I'm sorry. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's not. I fucking gagged. I fucking gagged so many times watching Finley like negative. No, nope. Just big nope. So that was fucking horrible. And I know what they were trying to do with the show, and I'm not gonna say like I love the show so far. I'm really impressed with it. It's really, really good. Really good. Great character development, good pacing, good like and by pacing I mean they do a good balance as well of showcasing the OGs and the new gen. It's really good. But there was some gross shit that I feel like I could have done without. Literally the first scene, which I'm not surprised because there's so much sex in this show. The first scene is Danny and Sophie fucking, which was it would have been really hot if the situation that happened, and I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but the situation that happened right after it happened wasn't shown. Now, I don't know. I don't know about anybody else. I'm just going to talk about myself. But I've never had that experience. I've never had that situation happen. I understand the concept of lesbians, being together and just fucking like jackrabbits all the time. So at some point, maybe there's a slight chance that that situation could occur. But like, what the fuck? Like, no, that's never happened to me. Also, just that was gross. And then Finley's armpits. Those were the two most disgusting things I've ever seen on a TV show. Horrible. So sick. I don't think I can talk about the other things that turn me on now after talking about that. It's so off-putting. But again, like I said, there is so much eye candy in this show. It's not just good character development and good stories being told, and gosh, you get so caught up into it, and I really get invested in the characters just like I did in the first one, and it's really cool to see these new characters, and I like most of them. I don't like Sophie. I feel like she's just meh to me. She's kind of like the Alice of the group, except Alice is really funny. So Alice has that. Alice had some really crazy stories. Not so much in this scenario. She's playing, Miss Mum in this one, but like in the first show, she had some really crazy encounters. Not to say that she doesn't have some crazy wild shit going on in this one too, but yeah, I did not like. I think Sophie was just kind of like meh. I was so upset with what happened with Danny, but not surprised, but so upset. And it was Finley, like it was just so wrong to me. They just looked wrong together. But at the same time, I also kind of felt like Danny and Sophie didn't really belong together. Like I felt like there was more for Danny. But I'm upset that she got her heart broken, of course, she's beautiful. And again, so many of the women in this show are just beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous women. And we see a lot of them. For me, Danny and Gigi are the hottest women. I kept watching the Gigi situation unfold, and I was like, I fucking know this actress. Like, where do I know her from? And I still can't pinpoint it, but I know that I know her because I thought she was so fucking hot when I first saw her, and I was like, I've seen you somewhere. Um, the other characters are all pretty much new to me. Like, I've never seen that. The actors that played Danny, Sophie, and Micah and Finley. I've never seen them before on any other show. So this is my first time being introduced to them. I think they did a pretty good job. Like I said, um, Danny stood out to me the most, not just because I think she's hot, but like the performance was really, really good. Um, Speaking of the hot stuff, though, we have to talk about it because there is so much porn. There is so much. It's straight up. It's lesbian porn in this show, just like in the first one. It's a lot. Um, and we see other things too. Like as I said, there's a trans man in this show featured, so we do see the sex life on that side as well of the spectrum. But it's a lot of lesbians. It's a lot of lady on lady action. Sometimes lady on lady on lady. So I want to talk about that briefly because I will get myself into trouble if I keep talking about it. But briefly, I have to touch on how hot the scenes were. Like they were just directed very well. The cinematography was really good. The lighting seems like so different in this as well. I'm guessing it's just because of technology upgrading, but it's really nicely shot. It just looks really good. It's like it's like the best professional porn you'll ever see. But aside from that, there's a lot of it in this show. A lot. It sometimes seems like that's all they do. Like there's a little bit of emotional talking, and then it's just fucking all the time. There's so much fucking in this show. Specifically the scenes that stood out to me the most. I talked about, like I said, the worst things. Let's talk about the best ones. So Danny for sure. Just Danny, Danny in general. I don't care who she's with, just Danny. But the scene that stood out to me the most, I had to like take a minute, but I couldn't like concentrate to watch the next episode, and that was the threesome. The episode with the threesome. I'm not gonna tell you anything else. I didn't think it would get me the way it got me. Because the characters, I'm not, I wasn't really into the two of the three characters, but that was done so well. And yeah, there were a lot of scenes in this show, just like there were in the first one, that get you really hot and bothered. It's like that kind of show that you're watching. Just like you have nail biting when you get nervous and anxious and stressed in this show, you have moments like that where you're just like, I have to hold on to something because fuck. It was like that. This show was like that. So there were some really hot scenes. There are some really hot, beautiful, gorgeous women. And what else can I really say about this show? It's fantastic. It's really, really good. I binged the entire first season in one night. I can't believe I waited this long to watch it, but I'm kind of happy that I did because I got to have everything all at once and see the story unfold. Now I'm kicking myself and I hate it that I have to wait because now I've started season 2. And it's torture now because I really just want to see where these characters go and how their stories unfold. I'm so fucking in and hooked and fascinated. So yeah, I had to talk about this show because it's fantastic. I love it. I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. If you've never seen the original L Word show, please go watch that. It's so good. It's really, really good. And again, it covers so many political, racial, so many issues that, you know, people struggle. It covers drug addiction, it covers alcoholism, it covers being trans, it covers being queer, it covers being a biracial lesbian, a biracial lesbian trying to adopt a kid. Like, there is so many issues covered in that first season that really I feel like relate to so many people. And I think that's why the show was so amazing, and it will always hold up, always. And I'm just forever indebted to these women, these actors, Eileen Chaikin, just for bringing this back because it's just amazing and fantastic. And I love that this new generation has something to reflect on and see themselves in. So it's really great. I really recommend watching it. I'm going to do a review of season 2 when that's done. So this was my review of season 1. I don't want to give you all the storylines and spoilers. I know I've talked a lot about just the general take of the show rather than all the details about it. The other things I want to say quickly is that Angie is fucking awesome. It was so, again, mouth dropping scenes to see Angie grown up. Holy crap. And the fact that Angie also likes girls now, like, that is crazy. She's amazing. Like, Angie was beautiful, amazing. I loved the acting. She was really good, the young actress. Really, really fucking good. I loved all the Angie stuff. I want to see more of her in season 2. She's great. I really want to see more of her story. I hope it focuses focuses in on her and shows us a bit more of her growing up. You know, she's a teenager now. It was like bizarre to see like Angie grown up. I just remember the little baby. Um, that's crazy. But yeah, it's so wonderful and beautiful to see what she's grown up in also. And to see what a good job Bet and Tina have done with her. So that was really cool. The other thing I want to talk about is my what the fuck moment. I was like, I'm sorry, what is that it? Which is when Bet actually talked. They she referenced Jenny, and I was like, what the fuck? Because like we leave off with Jenny dead in a pool, right? OG fans will know what I'm talking about. And I was like, what the fuck? Who killed Jenny? It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing for so long. For like years, people were speculating who fucking killed Jenny. And so people thought that maybe like if this ever was redone, they would revisit that and like maybe explore it and go into it and something would happen. But no, there was no mention of Jenny for like three fucking episodes. And in the third episode, Bet says that Jenny killed herself. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? We're going with suicide? Suicide? Listen, I'm sure that I speak for almost everybody who ever watched the show that someone fucking killed Jenny. Someone killed that bitch because she was unbearable. There is no way that she killed herself. She tried to be fair, but she had the cutting situation. Although, again, it's Jenny, so you can just see her floating away, and then like you can see that happening for Jenny too. But I don't buy it. I don't feel like Jenny killed herself. So I was up. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was. That's it. Are you gonna give me a flashback and explain how you guys got to this point of ruling out murder and deciding it was suicide? Like, I need to know. But no, they did not. So I don't know if they ever fucking will. And maybe that's just all they're gonna touch on. Um, there was some really cool throwbacks. I love the Dana stuff. It was beautiful. I love the Shane throwback shit. That was you looking really Shane today. That was really cool. For Shane's birthday. I like the Kiara stuff with Shane. That was really cool. I kind of wish that their relationship progressed. Again, that was another thing that sort of solidified that Carmen was never coming back, which was upsetting because I really would love to fucking see Carmen come back. That would be amazing. That would be such a fucking storyline for Shane. I mean, it'd be painful as fuck, but I know I don't want to put Shane through that, but I want to put Shane through that for my viewing experience. I'm selfish. I'm sorry. So anyway, those were the major things that like I noticed. But there's a lot in this show, as you guys can see. I've been talking for half an hour about this. It's a lot. It's a lot to talk about for one season because it's that show that really has so many characters, and it focuses in on each character. Plus, it has side stories and side characters, which were also really good, by the way. So yeah, it's a lot. So go watch it, and thank you so much for watching my review. I'll see you guys later.